Welcome to the MENA Surge podcast, the ultimate source for all things Web3 and FinTech related in the MENA region. Powered by FinTech Surge and Future Blockchain Summit, taking place at Dubai Harbour, October 15th through 18th, alongside Expand North Star and in association with GITEX Global. I'm happy to be joined by our partners today from Cointelegraph MENA.
Cointelegraph is the leading Web3 publication covering all the latest trends in blockchain, Web3, and FinTech for the region. Hi everyone, I'm here today with Osman Masud to talk about gaming and gamification of Web3. So thanks for coming in.
Glad to be here. Thank you for inviting.
Really nice to have you here. I love what you guys are doing in the space, and I'm excited to dive into how you guys are changing the gaming space within Web3. For the audience, I want to start with a quick introduction on you and what you're doing and your background.
Sure. So I'm a bit of a serial entrepreneur. I started my journey running my own company, run it for a good 10 years. Then it got merged into one of the largest BPO in US. Then I came on board with one of their sister concerns by the name of Ibex as heading their sales in the region. We took the company from few thousand people to tens of thousands of people in the span of 4 years.
Wow.
Then I joined another concern of them. It's an AI-based company, part of the global revenue team as vice president. And it has been privately valuated at north of $2.1 billion, expecting an IPO soon. Going back to my entrepreneurial roots last year, thought of, jumping with an idea that I'm really fond of, being a hardcore gamer myself, being in the industry with these cutting edge technologies like AI and machine learning. So I've been tinkling onto an idea in terms of, how to amalgamate both things where we can actually improve the gaming experience altogether, right? So long story short, December last year, we raised a bit of a pre-seed amount of $5 million on a $40 million valuation. Thank you very much. Have a good team across the globe. We've been able to put up something really brilliant right now, and I think it's going to be an absolutely game changer.
I'm excited to discuss this more. So, Osman, you have had multiple successful exits. What advice can you give to budding entrepreneurs that are watching this?
Yeah, so the thing is, there's no vanilla solution to all that. But one of the key things that I've picked up in the entire journey is that there's always room for learning, right? Mm-hmm. So if you really are focused to embark on this journey as such, my short advice on that would be, right, that you need to have a good game plan on, right? You need to have your goals sorted out. You need to be tenacious about that big time. But need to be patient as well, because it's not necessarily things going to go your way, right? But you need to believe that anything is possible, right? You need to be having faith in yourself, in the journey, and in the destiny, for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. That's good advice. Now, how did you guys choose gaming as your niche? You came from a tech background, but you've been an avid gamer.
Yeah.
So what was the story behind the formation of this?
Yeah, so one of the most interesting piece when it comes to gaming is the absolute crazy TAM, or target audience market. You've got millions of users around the globe, right? So it's a very nice mix of taking that massive audience to these transformative technologies like blockchain, AI, cloud, and my background being from AI and tech. So it was a nice, I think, synergies happening there, right? And building on that, it's all about considering that these transformative technologies at the end of the day require to be on the mainstream, right? So this is one of the biggest use case, I think, that can really take it right to the top.
Okay, and what exactly does the game company do?
Okay, so it's an AI-based cloud gaming platform. Essentially, just imagine that you can play your favorite game from anywhere in the world, anytime, using virtually any device, actually, whether that be an 8-year-old laptop, whether that be a mobile phone, or even an LED TV, right? Mm-hmm. So we are breaking down the barrier to play these games at the same time, making it more inclusive, in terms of bringing these technologies like Web3 into the lane and enabling users to have a mechanism to earn while gaming. Nothing like that,
Okay.
right?
I heard you say LED TV.
Yeah.
So you can use your TV as a console.
Yeah, just imagine not having a console or an intermediate hardware in the middle. You just switch on your TV, you convert your phone as a controller, or even you can use a gamepad and you can play your favorite game anywhere in the world.
So what does this mean for console companies?
Yeah, we've been hearing that a lot. Yes, traditionally, consoles are the more dominant mechanism of playing games, right, in the gaming industry as such. But we think that cloud gaming and AI brings a whole new angle as that's changing the status quo right now. So what we do, we bring flexibility, accessibility, and more choices at the end of the day for the users because there's these huge opportunity for them to just play anything without spending expensive money on hardware or consoles or heavy rigs as such. So, but at the same time, we consider that we are complementing the actual industry right now, because to be blunt, we value what the consoles have been doing generally in the industry, but what we see is and a compelling alternate to all this. But at the same time, building up a healthy competition to all these consoles and all that, but at the same time also pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Okay, interesting. So what does this mean for gamers in developing countries or ones that don't have access to consoles or the funds to buy a console or even internet?
So that's the key. So basically, all these people now have an opportunity to play at the highest levels, play on all these tournaments. We're evening the odds on that. Just imagine anybody that has top of the line console or machine and state of the art internet. Comparing with that, you talk about individual with a basic laptop or a decent enough internet, he can still play on the same gaming experience, right? So we're evening the odds on that, and that's huge, because now that means if you talk about the overall esports market of 3.3 billion, we are actually tapping into a bigger part of that, where everybody has a chance to really enjoy what the gaming is all about.
I love that. Yeah, that's definitely an industry that needs a bit of an advancement. So you earlier mentioned something about play to earn, or well, earning while gaming.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Because the other day BBC put out an article about how games are making children spend money, and I mean, I've seen it personally. My aunt, she got a bill for $422 from Roblox, and her kid is like 6 years old. So I want to get your take on this. Do you think play to earn is, gonna stay around? Do you think it's a fad?
Yeah, so that's an interesting article of BBC, but we need to take that article with a balanced approach as such, right? Yeah, it's true that over the years, gaming industry or various gamers have been involved in a process where they get too entangled into the entire thing as such. Primarily driven by the monetized models that various gaming labels have built up, right? Whether that be pay to play or play to earn, right? But all of that need to be seen with certain context as such, right? So the predominant model has been pay to play, right? And it's gonna be there for quite some time as well. But P2E is actually adding a new paradigm to the entire thing, where user can actually monetize their skill set, have authority of owning true ownership of their in-game assets as well as such. On the flip side, I think there's a responsibility for the gaming community or the gaming companies in general, that they need to ensure that there's ethical gaming practices in place, where the user needs to be informed as such. And there should be some safeguards, especially for the younger generation as such, to ensure that, there's not a scenario where you really burn out huge cash on that. But at the same time, it's a very interesting, economy that can be developed around that as well. So it's not just about playing, it's also about earning as well. So if you have a good balance in both of that, eventually I think you're on the forefront of actually setting up a very interesting ecosystem for gaming where it's beneficial for the gamer, for the developer, and eventually for the community as a whole as well.
Okay, really cool. Now, you guys work a lot with AI and gaming. How exactly do you use AI? Because right now AI is a buzzword. Everyone wants to jump on. You have Chat GPT tokens, and I don't know, I don't know what else is going on. But how do you guys feel about AI and integrating it in gaming? How does it work with your ecosystem?
AI has been an integral part of our entire solution offering as such because it helps us to personalize the overall experience. So when we talk about Web3 in general, it's always a difficult journey in terms of getting adapted to the entire environment. Based on the input that we gather from millions of users that will be a part of the entire ecosystem, we can have personalized roadmap in terms of how the user envision the entire journey. You can have intuitive interfaces with that. The overall experience improves on that. The other thing is the gaming experience itself as well, where we have these information that we gather in terms of the user end environment as well as the server environment to ensure there's a best match in terms of ensuring that there's a seamless continuity of gameplay. That's where the AI comes into play, ensuring that you don't feel any difference in the entire experience as such.
So, do you mean like in terms of lag and loading time?
Absolutely. So that's
Okay.
the key part. We boast one of the best connection times on the game. We have absolutely low latency in terms of the overall gameplay. You're gonna love the experience, and a hardcore gamer especially who could see that why on earth have a console with me right now? Why I'm spending so much money, because you get the same experience with any laptop or any machine that you have right now to play that.
Really cool. So, when do we get to try this out?
Yeah, that's a good question. Our MVP is ready. We plan to launch our services mid next quarter. Currently, we are in a seed round. We're raising $15 million and north of $100 million valuation. So everything is on track in terms of our launch and everything. And just you're gonna hear some good news in the next coming weeks for sure.
So, obviously, gaming is considered its own industry, but how do you feel it's going to play a role in the mass adoption of blockchain and AI?
When we talk about gaming, it has one of the largest user base, got millions of gamers around the globe, right? So I think gaming is gonna bring all these transformative technologies like Web3 or AI to mainstream because you're exposing them to a very large audience. So once if a gamer is equipped with the entire ecosystem in terms of blockchain or whether it be AI, it is easy for him or her to adapt to that in other domains as well. So there's a strong case of mass adoption in other domains as well. So I think that's one of the major use cases where we can bring this mainstream for sure.
So, we've seen, as you know, we've worked with several companies in the space, and we have noticed that traditional gamers hate Web3 gaming. How do you feel like this is going to affect you guys, and what advice can you give to gaming companies?
So for us, the gaming experience is of paramount importance. What we have done is that we have these intuitive and personalized interfaces within our entire portal as such to ensure that the onboarding processes are more streamlined. You don't feel whether you are in Web 2 or Web 3. That's been the biggest hindrance as such in terms of adapting to Web 3 as such. So it's kind of a best of both worlds where you have the tech of Web 3 but the experience of Web 2 as well for easy onboarding, and that seems to work for us.
How is the game company coming in to spread the mass adoption of Web3 gaming with the Web2 gamers who are averse to Web3?
Yeah, so the biggest edge that we have, specifically talking about Web 2 and Web 3, is the adaptation towards Web 3 as such. The journey itself is seamless. In terms of the overall interfaces, the intuitive nature of the entire interfaces, that's one part of it. The scalability of the entire thing is another facet to the entire thing because we are envisioning to have millions of users on our platform. So we are ensuring and investing heavily to ensure that we can handle millions of transactions simultaneously. The other thing is the interoperability part of it that allows more Web3 games to be in our ecosystem as well, where you ensure that different blockchains can seamlessly integrate with us as such. The opportunity to play to earn traditionally has been associated with Web3, but with our tournament model in place, you can actually have an opportunity of earning from tournaments on Web2 games as well. And all that on a blockchain, ensuring there's transparency. You can still own your in-game assets, have NFTs. So there's an entire monetizable ecosystem that any gamer, whether it's Web3 gamer or Web2 gamer, can really gain a lot of benefit from our ecosystem and our platform.
I love that. So how did you come up with the name?
So it's a very interesting story. Generally, people try to really outdo their self in terms of the name. We try to keep it simple, focus on the goal, keep it simple, easy to remember. The Game Company, right? Yeah.
It's interesting that that domain was even available.
Some stars were aligned for us, so I think it helps us.
Okay, I love that. So we covered a lot of the opportunities that Web3 has. What are some challenges that you see Web3 has currently in the gaming space?
So obviously, Web3 comes with their own set of challenges. It's the scalability element. It's also the user experience that we touched a little while ago. It's also the regulatory framework. And that's a key element as well, especially if you talk about ourselves right now. Being a product that will be launched globally, for us, it's imperative that we are in sync with all the regulatory changes happening around the globe. We are continuously interacting with legal experts on that to be on top of it, to ensure that we provide a safe and a sound, a regulatory compliant atmosphere to any users around the world on that. The other element associated with Web3 is the interoperability element as well, where there are multiple chains for sure, but generally speaking, moving one asset to another, especially in gaming, would be, I think, a game changer as such for sure, because that way, you can have that asset on multiple games and you can really, have a better experience at the end of the day for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, really cool. So when you say moving assets between games, would this be in the form of NFTs?
Yeah, it could be NFTs. At the same time, all that reside onto our core token, that it's the utility token within our environment, right? So it's an amalgamation of whether that be in the form of credits or whether that be a specific NFT issued to that individual's name as such.
Okay, really cool. Well, I think that's all the major questions that I have. I do want to wrap up with a quick rapid fire.
Well, okay.
Okay. What advice would you give to people looking to enter the fintech space during this market?
Currently, the market has its ups and downs. But if you really believe in your product, there's huge room for fintech right now. Because what it essentially does is reduce the barrier to entry in terms of the end user, and there's a huge demand for that right now.
So what is the next biggest trend in gaming?
If I won't be naming any particular labels, but I think a little bit of insight to that would be the games that are really focused on AI and on the immersive experience. There are quite a few really working on that, and I think that's the next big thing, because that's really going to be the game changer in the overall experience as such.
So next question, what are you looking forward to the most at Future Blockchain Summit?
So we will probably be launched by that time. So we definitely going to be the highlight of that event for sure.
I love that attitude. Awesome. Well, I'll see you there. I'm excited. And thank you for your time today. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise. Thank you very much.